So you're turning your first bowl. Now what? This is where the real magic happens. Hollowing, shaping, and sanding like a pro. Bowl turning part 2. Bring your bowl to life. In part 1, we took that rough blank and shaped the outside of our very first bowl. If you missed that step, I'll link it here so you can catch up. But now it's time to bring this piece to life. Today, we're going inside the bowl, hollowing it out, refining the curves, and sanding it smooth so it's ready for a finish. As we wrapped up lesson 1, we had the general shape of the exterior of our bowl, and we've got a tenon here on the bottom of the bowl that we're going to use to remount into our scroll chuck. So we can get this back on our headstock. We're just going to place it in the scroll chuck. We have changed the jaws on the scroll chuck, so we're just going to tighten those down on our tenon. That's about 3 inches in diameter. Okay, so we've got this ready, and so now it's just time to start working on finalizing the shape of our bowl and hollowing out the inside. We've got this surface of our bowl faced off and really flat, which helps in the next step, which is defining our depth. So I always like to drill depth holes anytime I am working on bowls and vases. And what I use is just this shop-made jig. It's literally a dowel rod and a scrap piece with a hole drilled in it. And what that allows me to do is find my depth. And once again, I'm using my combo square back here to define the bottom of our bowl. So we've got that down here in place. And then I'm just going to use, with this long surface, now I can hold this up here, and I've got a pretty good idea exactly where that bowl is. And now I can just look down here at this space, and I can either judge it by eye or I can measure it. So that's about 1/4 right there. So this step is a great place for a drill chuck. So I'm just going to put a drill chuck here in the tailstock, and then we're going to use our lathe to drill out our depth hole. Now I've got this big long 1/2 inch drill bit. You don't need a drill bit for a bowl this long, but this drill bit's over here at the lathe because I use it for vases and other items like that as well. But now we can just take our measurement here off of our jig, and I'm going from the point. So in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to put the point on my jig right down here. I got that, and then I'm just going to use blue tape to kind of mark that spot. It doesn't have to be perfect, and then we'll go ahead and drill this out and get our depth hole here on this bowl. All right, we've got the lathe kicked on. When I'm drilling with my lathe, I like to slow the speed down to about 300 RPMs or so, advance it slowly. I'm not too worried about if this hole wobbles, right? We're drilling it out, but this drill bit makes pretty quick work of this process. Now for the fun part, which is hollowing the interior of our bowl. I've got a line out here kind of representing, it's a little more than 1/4 inch. So we're going to start at that point, and then we may make that wall thickness just a little bit thinner, but it should align pretty closely with our depth hole that we've got here in the middle for that thickness in the bottom of the bowl also. So I'm starting out with my 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and I've just resharpened it. Anytime we're transitioning from different points, that's a good point to resharpen your tools. I always like to start kind of here in the center, and I'm going to use mostly bevel supported cuts, and I'm just going to get my gouge in here. And you can see here I'm following, I've got my bevel contacted here, and we're just going to push right in toward that center. Now, another way that we can make these cuts for hollowing, we can use our bowl gouge more as a scraper. So I can also come in here and scrape this out this way. That's another way to do it. And honestly, a lot of times this is faster. But I want to show you one thing here. When I'm scraping, or when I'm using my bowl gouge in this orientation, if I get this corner of the bowl gouge engaged, right, if I go too aggressively and I try to take off
kind of that full wing, I may be able to do it, but a lot of times if I go too much, especially as I start getting a curve in here, if I catch that corner right there, I'm going to get a catch. My preference, honestly, is to use more of a bevel supported cut in that hollowing, just like that. And we can take off, as you can see there, we can remove quite a bit of material all at once. I look at it this way: as I'm making these cuts, I'm just practicing. I have a lot of practice that I can keep using these bevel supported cuts with.
Ready to master bowl turning? Our upcoming online course dives into all of the details skipped by YouTube videos, including mine. With extensive video lessons and a detailed guide, you'll refine your skills and become a pro. Comment bowls to join our waiting list and enjoy 20% off at launch. One of the downsides of my swept-back bowl gouge that I'm using here is I can only go so deep into the bottom of the bowl. This tool is only going to cut effectively to a certain depth, and we're running into that limit right here. You can kind of see we're not getting all the way down to the bottom. So here in a moment, we'll change tools and we'll clear out the bottom of the bowl.
Okay, so we're pretty close to our line. I know my line's thicker than a quarter, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the line. I'm going to get started there. Now out here, I don't want to take as aggressive of a cut, right? We're getting close to our rim. All right, so we're in pretty good shape. I want to stop the lathe here and take a look at where we're at. So I've got a really rough surface I can see here. I've got a couple ridges in here that I can see. So all I want to do is make a couple more passes just to work down the thickness a little bit and to get this smoothed out. So this bowl scraper will make pretty quick work of this at this point. I will go back and sharpen this a couple times as I'm doing this. It doesn't take long for scrapers to get dull, as you're aware.
When I was using the bowl gouge, I left myself basically some rings here in the bottom of the bowl. All I'm doing now with the bowl scraper is just working down those rings and trying to get kind of a flat or a smooth arched surface on the inside of the bowl all the way across. This is the best part about having the depth hole here at this point, so we know how deep we need to go. And so we're just going to keep working down to the bottom of the bowl using our bowl scraper.
So you can see we got down, we're pretty close to the bottom. There are really two details that I want to be careful about here at this point. First, as I'm coming around here, I don't want to hit the side of my bowl with this surface up here while this is engaged. We could get a catch, or it could just cause some problems. So I'm going to be a little careful. So right now, this is the area I need to remove material. I'm pretty good up here. And so I'm going to start removing material right in here in this shoulder space and getting the bottom connected with our rim out here on the edge. All right, that's not in bad shape. I'm happy with that. We're going to stop there as far as the turning and stuff. So now we just need to work on preparing the surface on this bowl. With most of our bowl turned, now it's time to start preparing our bowl for finish. We're going to start by preparing the surface and making sure not only that we sand it smooth, but we get rid of any tear out and imperfections that we might have in our bowl. So what I found easier than just trying to sand all of the tear out away is to start with a negative rake scraper. Okay, and this is my negative rake scraper that I made from a half round scraper. We've got our bowl mounted on the lathe. We've got it back on. Now we're just going to make a light pass with our scraper. I'm going to have to be careful out here on this rim. I'm a little out of round. The bowl has flexed. So we'll see if we can get all the way up here. We may have to do a lot of sanding on this bowl. I'm just going to start in the center. And you can see we're just getting little wispy shavings and fibers coming off there. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a lot of material. The rim of this bowl was kind of a mess as well, so we're just going to take really lightly. Work the rim, put a slight bevel on the outside, on the inside, and also on the outside. So we've smoothed out the bottom of this bowl a little more. We still have some problem spots up here. We'll have to do a little extra sanding on this side and this side. All right, on the outside of the bowl, I'm going to switch tools. And we can, if we have problem spots on the exterior of the bowl, we can use our negative rake scraper as well. It will do the same. It can help us smooth things out as also. So I'm just going to use this carbide cutter head with the negative rake insert and do the same thing here on the outside of this bowl.
Even with the negative rake scraper, we're going to get better results working from the base or the bottom of the bowl out to the rim. We still want to take advantage of just a natural curve and having fibers underneath that surface where we're cutting. It's still going to give us the best results. Now that we have the inside and outside of our bowl as smooth as we can get them with the negative rake scrapers, it's time to start transitioning to sanding.
We've got the surface of our bowl as clean as we can get it with all of our tools and turning. So now it's time for sanding so we can get ready for finish. My preferred method, the method that I use for sanding the most, which is power sanding. And I use this air-powered die grinder. You don't have to use a tool like this. You can use a drill, whether it's an electric drill or a battery drill. Those are other ways that you can do power sanding. What I like about it, first of all, is we're going to be using both the lathe. So we're going to turn the lathe on. We're going to use the machine to help us kind of get through our sanding pretty quickly. But we also have the power of, in this case, a die grinder. Now I have got this quick connect fitting that I've got here in the die grinder, which allows me just to very quickly and easily change grits. So I've got my grits ready to go. I'm starting at 100, sometimes 120. I know I've got some problem areas on this bowl in particular, so I've got some work to do here on the inside. So we're going to use this 100 grit.
With this process, I have the lathe running in reverse, so it's rotating toward the dust collection hood, and we've got the dust collector on, the air compressor, so it's very loud. So we want to make sure when we're sanding in particular that we've got a respirator or a dust mask at a minimum. I've got my hearing protection, I've got my safety glasses and face shield, so we're all safetied up here, so it's a little hard to chat through this process. Once we're done sanding the exterior of the bowl, we're also going to flip around here and sand the inside of the bowl as well as the rim. When we're starting the process, whatever the most coarse grit we're using, in this case it's 100 grit, this grit we're going to spend the most time. This is the step that's going to take the longest. And then once we've got most of the tear out and tool marks and everything removed with our heavy grit, then from there it's going to go much faster as we're really going to progress through our grits from 100, 120, 180, 220, 320. And once we start moving through the grits, we're just removing the scratches from the previous grit. So once we get past 100, our work here goes much, much faster. We've got our bowl with the tenon all sanded up, ready to go for the most part. The last thing we need to do is remove the tenon off the bottom of the bowl. We're going to do that with our coal jaws, with the help of our coal jaws here in our scroll chuck. We're going to be able to get the bowl remounted here, which will give us access to the bottom of the bowl so that we can turn this away. My favorite tool for this process is this small 1/4 inch bowl gouge. I have this ground just like my 1/2 inch bowl gouge. What I like about this tool for this purpose is it kind of forces me to be patient and not try to take off a bunch of material all at one time. From a design perspective, when we formed the tenon, we sized the tenon to be the size of the foot that we wanted on the bowl. So I don't really have to measure anything there. All I need to do is move this material down. Now we did reshape the bowl, so I've got a shoulder here that we're also going to deal with. So as we take down the tenon, we're going to remove this other flat spot, this other shoulder here, and get all of that blended in. So we're going to use the bowl gouge for a lot of it, but we'll probably come back here with maybe a carbide tool or whatever else we need to make that work. So let's get started and get the tenon removed. Once we've got most of the tenon removed, down to about 1/8 of an inch for the foot of the bowl, I'm removing that shoulder that was right next to the tenon where we had reshaped our bowl previously. I'm using the 1/4 inch bowl gouge with just as a shear scraper, and now I've switched over to my negative rake scraper just to kind of smooth that out and get everything kind of feathered in. The negative rake scraper allows me to do this without taking off a lot of material, and it'll give me a decent finish also. I like to add a little texture to the bottom of the bowl on the foot. This is just a personal aesthetic that I like to include. This, you can absolutely skip this step. Now all that's left is to get rid of the nub where our tailstock is. So we're back to the 1/4 inch bowl gouge. We're just kind of reducing that diameter. We're also kind of undercutting the foot of the bowl just to create a flat spot in the bottom. So I'm just going to use my skew chisel, and I'm leaving the lathe off, and I'm just kind of creating a line. See right there, it broke off. And with the nub gone, all I'm doing here is using my skew chisel like a scraper just to kind of create a flat spot on the bottom of the bowl. Straight across until we get it more or less flat. The last thing we need to do here at the lathe is just to sand the bottom of the bowl where we've removed the tenon and kind of feathered out the bottom. We'll work through our grits just like we did on the rest of the bowl, and then we'll be in good shape. I made a ton of mistakes, just like everyone does when I first started wood turning. Here are 5 things I wish I knew before I ever started. Make sure you check out that video next. The bowl is finished. We're done turning this bowl, and it's just ready for a little bit of finish.